Welcome to Yummies with Yoda, where we're making restaurant quality meals right here at home, one dish at a time. If you would please, before we get started, gently fillet the like button for more great quality content to come. All right, don't go anywhere. We're starting in 5 seconds. All right, now for today's recipe. It's going to be bourbon chicken with fried rice. And I did a little preparatory work here. So I previously diced some chicken. You can take about a pound or half pound, just you can eyeball it and see, of chicken. And then I've got my half cup of light brown sugar and diced shallots. And then I've got about 2 tablespoons of garlic and about 2 tablespoons of onion powder. And then I'm bringing in a little heat with about a half teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now for the preparation of our chicken. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to just start cutting on my chicken. I usually do maybe about a 1/2 inch strips to start, and we're eventually going to dice this. So just start cutting around just like so. And then we're going to turn her around and just hit it there and just dice it. All right. And then once we're done there, put that over here. All right. So when you get your chicken prepared, what you're going to do is you're going to take about, I usually eyeball it. My grandmother used to say that if you cook with love in your heart, you'll never go wrong. So what I typically do is I just pour in a little bit of buttermilk. What the buttermilk does is it actually helps the chicken itself hold in the moisture, and so that when you cook the chicken, once the heat hits it, that buttermilk melts off into like kind of a fat, and so you don't have to rinse it off or anything. You just leave the buttermilk on there, let it sit in there for maybe about 20 minutes. And so while we wait, we will get started on our rice. I pre-steamed some jasmine rice. I typically use jasmine rice just because when all of the flavors infuse inside, it gives it more of an aromatic thing. So now we're going to go over and we're going to get started in getting our pot all heated up and ready to go. In this case, we're using a cast iron skillet. Cast iron is the only way to go if you really want to get it going, especially with fried rice. I take about 1 or 2 tablespoons of just extra virgin olive oil. Get it started. Now I'm putting in my shallots. Just kind of mix that around. And we come in with our rice. All right, now let's get a little bit of that. That's our garlic, onion powder, and a little bit of cayenne pepper. And just stir it around. With all those fragrances, this is kind of what I call the "what are you cooking in the kitchen? It sure smells good" combination of spices. Now, no fried rice would be well equipped at all without just a little bit of sesame oil to give it that oomph. You can also use like sesame powder if you have it, or you can just chop up fresh sesame if you want. It just depends on your taste. See, it's starting to brown a bit. Just kind of kick it around. That way it doesn't stick. Oh man, I wish you could smell this, because that really does smell so good. Like, now no fried rice would be well equipped at all without just a little bit of sesame oil to give it that oomph. You can also use like sesame powder if you have it, or you can just chop up fresh sesame if you want. It just depends on your taste. See, it's starting to brown a bit. Just kind of kick it around. That way it doesn't stick. Oh man, I wish you could smell this, because that really does smell so good. Like, now for our bourbon sauce, I take a little bit of bourbon whiskey, maybe about 2 cups, and just pour it into a saucepan. All right, while it's heating up, I'm going to take about a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar and just pour it in. I set the temperature to low heat just to get it going and stirred it around a bit. I didn't use all of the garlic, onion, and cayenne pepper, and I just put it all in one bowl, and I'm going to just dump it in. Now you also, depending on your taste, if you like the salt to taste, that would be okay too. I don't typically use salt. I use accent, which, yeah, some say it's bad for you, but it's so good, which is probably the reason why. All right, now let's get back to our chicken. While you've got the buttermilk inside the chicken, it's no real reason to actually use any cooking oil at all. So that buttermilk is actually going to turn into a fat, so there's no need to actually add any oils. Of course, you're going to want to season to taste. So I typically use, again, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of onion powder, salt and pepper to taste. As you can see, the buttermilk is turning into more of a fat as we're cooking around it. And so now let's get to the good part, where plating is half the fun. Yay! All right. As I said before, plating is half the fun. This is my favorite part. Okay, so you can use just a plethora of things, but what I typically do is I take a lime, I cut it as thinly as I can down the short way, and she just kind of hold this up here and show you. All right, and then I take a knife and then I cut down the middle without cutting to the other side, and just give her a twist. Sit it on your plate. So now we've moved on to the rice for presentation. All right, so I take like a cup measure and just get her in there pretty good. Without really sticking it to it, but then put it there. You can take a little small sprig if you want of like Italian parsley and stick it in there like so. And then let's get back to the chicken. So the buttermilk cooked down into a liquid, and so what I did was just kind of stick it in a colander to get her going. And no oil necessary on a non-stick pan. Don't try this with one that sticks. There, didn't want to come out. All right. Now, just kind of saute it, brown it on both sides, just to get her going. Our sauce is complete. You typically want to cook that that sauce. I've got it going. I've got it back there. You typically want to cook your bourbon sauce or maybe, to a rolling boil, so maybe about 15-20 minutes. Okay, so I put the chicken in here. Okay, so now back to the chicken. We're over with the buttermilk. It tends to liquefy again, so thus the reason that you didn't need any type of oil or anything when you were cooking it before. Now I had strained it from a colander, and I've put the chicken on just to kind of saute it a bit and brown it on both sides. Our sauce, the bourbon sauce, is right back here. You typically want that to just come to a rolling boil, so maybe, I'd say about 15 minutes or so. Just get a good boil on it, and then once it's done and all of the ingredients infused within that 15 minutes or so gets all mixed up, then you are set to go. All right. Now, this smells so good. I cannot wait to try it. All right, we're heading into the home stretch. Okay, so as I said, plating is my favorite part of the whole thing that we're doing here. So we've got the first preparatory things that we did with our lime, our rice, and the Italian parsley. And I just took just a little gravy bowl of our sauce. And now I'm just going to reach my hand in here, grab out so like a fistful of chicken, stick it on the plate. Voila! Absolute thanks for just watching and taking the time. If you would please gently fillet the like button for more great content. So look forward to this. This is your community, so we do accept any recommendations that you have of something that you might want to try cooking. I've got some ideas. I've got a date night thing coming up, so looking forward to that as well. Have an amazing day. Be kind, be caring. You never know, you might be entertaining an angel. Have a great day.